was your first childhood break?
Second page.
Second page.
Wait, but then why did you write it on the other page?
I didn't realize because you opened up to the wrong page. So
How did you come up with the idea for this event?
Well, right now I supervise a garden, and we're only open from April to October, and so we thought it would be a great way to have an event while school's out, and during the February break and the spring break. So we decided that February break would be the best, and so and what we usually teach about is gardening and cooking with the plants that we grow in the garden. And so we don't have any plants growing right now because it's so cold out.
So you thought that that would be a good idea so that kids can stay healthy and you get moving even though it's so winter. And it's actually really good.
Exactly, yeah. It's a chance for us to do something in the middle of the winter and teach what we usually teach out in the garden.
Okay. So why did you want
Carla became one of our friends. So we have a partnership with her co-host on the Chew, Mario Batali. Yeah, so he comes to a lot of our events during the gardening season. And so one of those times he brought Carla with him. And we met Carla, and she loved the family garden and the Edible Academy, and so she decided that we would be great partners. So she's now one of our friends as well.
Okay. How'd you pick the other shots? Like, how'd you pick all the
That's a good question. So we reached out to different organizations that also do food education or are associated with food education, and asked them if they'd like to join us. And so they have experience teaching kids about food, and they're all from around the metropolitan New York area. So we thought it'd be nice to spread the word through all of their different networks.
Okay. So why is this event for children? Like, why isn't it for adults?
That's a good question. I think it's for like I call adults big kids, but it's we usually have activities for children, and so we thought it'd be a great event to do during the school's out week. But I think everybody can learn something here. So.
Yeah. What do you think the kids are learning from this?
Well, I hope they learn a little bit more about the food that they eat every day, about where that food comes from. We're hoping to make some connections to the gardens and the farms that produce the food. I hope they learn that cooking is fun and that they can be involved in helping to make family meals, and then maybe learn about new foods. And so they might be inspired to maybe grow some of those foods in their backyards or in their windowsills, and have some fresh food available.
We got tomato plants every year, so this year wasn't that good, but last year we could just like go outside and pick out a tomato every day, like cherry tomatoes every day. It was awesome.
The best, fresh off the vine, right?
Yeah. Will you do this event more often?
Well, we right now this is our slow time. In about 5 weeks, we're going to open up our big 2-acre garden. It's bigger than this whole tent. Yeah, and it's and then we have activities every day of the week from April through October, and we have some more. We do cooking demonstrations every week, 3 times a week, Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
I remember 2 years ago, or was it 3 years ago? We went to the trains. We went to the train.
You came to the train show?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's so that's in the conservatory, but this botanical garden is really big, and we have a children's garden. And we invite families to come in and grow their own plants, and we do cooking demonstrations with the food that we grow.
I remember doing something else here also. Mom did I think during Christmas time we made gingerbread.
Yeah. So we have 2 children's gardens here. We have the garden I supervise is called the Edible Academy, and then there's another children's garden called the Adventure Garden, and that's where we made gingerbread.
Yeah.
Yep. You learn about all the plants and the plant parts that are used in a gingerbread recipe.
Oh yeah. Can you tell me again about how you
Yeah, I'm helping my friend who is helping your school do that. Yeah.
Are there a lot of schools that have programs like ours?
You know, there's a lot. There's in New York City alone. There's almost 200 registered school gardens, and then all around the country there's thousands. So,
Are they all outside or?
They're all of the above.
Okay.
Yeah. There's some that are just indoor classrooms. There's some that are outdoors. So Mount Kisco is massive.
It's a huge garden, right?
Yeah.
I read a book about gardening, and it was an incident that the kids were doing. They were doing the whole process between them to open the garden, and they were saying how if you have like more fruit selection, like all the process.
Right. No, yeah, fresh food is better for you, definitely. And then I think when you have a chance to grow the plants, you've developed the you have that experience with the plants. So you learn a bit more about what that is in your meals, and so you're more likely to try things that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise. So nutrition education works best when it's in tandem with garden education.
So the best education when you're a kid is to learn when you're a kid.
I think so. I think I think you're willing to try more things when you're a kid, and so I think the earlier you try things, maybe you'll incorporate them into your diet. You might also learn that you don't like it at all, or maybe you won't. But I think the more opportunities you can be introduced to different ways of producing food or making your meals, I think you're likely to have a broader range of things you're likely to try the rest of your life. Yes.
It seems like there's been like a whole, like in the last couple of years, more and more about like programs that are geared towards kids with food, and even like shows, like MasterChef Junior, and it just seems sort of like an explosion,
Yeah, so I've been supervising this children's garden for 10 years now, and there were since then explode would be yes, there's been a huge movement for like organic food, local food, and then it's extending it to kids too. Sure. So,
does your garden program? Because I know since we live near kind of not that far away from Blue Hill and Stone Farms, and that's the only other kind of garden program kind of locally that I can think of. Does the program here have like a farm share thing going on like Blue Hill does, or no?
We do not. No, we work with 50,000 kids every year at the Family Garden.
Wow.
And so we do school programs on weekdays. We have our gardening program on the weekend. We're open to the public every afternoon. And so everything we grow is shared in those programs. So it's a little different setup than Stone Barn. So.
Do you think that you're gonna have after this one, are you gonna have more people from shows come here to teach children? Maybe next year if you're gonna do this, maybe you have someone besides you.
Well, I know Carla wants to participate, and this is our first opportunity to be a part of our programs. And then Mario still participates with us. And then several chefs from his restaurants host these dinners. We call them family dinners, and so we've been doing those for 3 years now. And those are done in the summertime in our garden.
Oh, that's great.
And so you spend an hour doing gardening activities, and then we gather all of the guests in our pavilion, and the chefs share a 3-course dinner. So we've been; those are fantastic. We have room for 100 people.
Off of what was just farmed, or
they incorporate some of the things,
okay,
but
gotcha.
they bring a lot of the food from their restaurant, and their menu features plants that we're growing in their gardens. We designed a bunch of gardens, so but it's not necessarily enough for 100 people.
Yeah.
At our daycare, we have a farm share every year, and I went to it this year, and they make you go to there's a booth, and you go to each booth and you get food, but it's all fresh, and it's to raise money for the Mount Kisco, but it's also just try different things. So we do that
Yeah, it's a good program. Yeah, no, supporting local farms is a great thing, whether it's through a CSA, share, or going to the local farmers markets and buying their produce when it's ready. So, or supporting some restaurants in the area that source their food locally. So it's a good thing for everybody around you, all your neighbors. So.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you guys.
Can I get a
Appreciate it.
picture?